a circular piece of plastic. While at the same time, it's so much more. It's a lifestyle, it's a hobby, it's a time passer. So many things within one piece of plastic. So why is something so simple so powerful? Truth be told, we don't know. It is neat how we all are just able to get a physical copy of what someone put like a month or a week's worth of solid work into. It's a past that some of us don't really get the chance to remember. Just the feeling of a natural format just puts me at home.
I definitely think vinyl is something more. I think like there's just a whole experience that comes along with like listening to vinyl and like just having a record player. I think that they're coming back.
When you think of a vinyl record, you think antique or vintage. However, if you look at the charts, vinyls are still standing as strong as they ever were. People may be collecting them as a nostalgic memento from their childhood, people simply wishing to regain relics from the past, the mother format. However, there's another demographic, a new age waiting to relive a time they didn't get the chance to experience. This is a new generation, in search of new relics.
Well, on my 16th birthday, I got my vinyl player and a couple of records to go with it, and I fell in love with it, and I've got a pretty normal size, collection now, and I love it.
I guess it started when my girlfriend bought me a record player. She was always into them, and we always listened to them at her house. So when she bought me a record player, it just sort of sent me on a spree. I'd say you're a lucky ducky if you get to grow up on vinyl. That's awesome to be able to just sift through vinyls all day. It's sort of like a culture. Again, it's a culture thing. So being able to be with all your friends and just sitting in your room and going through vinyls together and trading vinyls and stuff like that sounds like an incredible world to me. That's a world that I'd like to be a part of.
My mom really wanted me to get into it. Like, she was always buying me appetite for destruction, and it's vinyl. She always had them around the house. My dad always said they were a lot cooler. I remember my dad had a whole wall just with vinyls all over the wall, and I thought that was really cool. And then, my friends really got into it, so that's kind of what started it.
In the 1960s, vinyl was in its prime. With its only contenders being cassettes and 8-tracks, it crushed the competition. Tapes were nothing in comparison to the vinyl record, but as time went on, new formats were introduced, and the CD and the MP3 seemed to kill off vinyl for good.
Records are increasing in sales all the time. I've been in business now, this is the 4th year, and we've almost doubled every year since we started. 2/3, 1/3, 1/3 young kids and 2/3, adults. But the interesting thing is there's more kids all the time, and another interesting thing, there's more women that buy records too, it's always been considered a dude thing, it's a guy thing. But really, girls come and buy records, moms buy records, grandmothers buy records. I sell records to everybody. And that's just really nice that everyone appreciates it and is comfortable with it. If no one has some I don't know what to do with those, I don't understand it. They all understand it, and they're not afraid of it.
I would definitely say it's more stationary than other kinds of music, but the sound is much different than more modern, music players.
People say, you know, I don't want to do it because my parents did it, but I feel part of it is like, you know, my parents did this. I think it's kind of cool.
Buying a record player is a huge thing because, I mean, record players takes up like half your room, and it's just, there's a sort of form of it, it's just classic. It feels more fancy, you feel more cultured when you use a record player.
There's not a kid out there that doesn't know what an MP3 is, doesn't know what an iPod is, or an iPhone, or some kind of music player. I mean, they've had those ever since they can remember. And records are like a new thing. But the same reason that it's popular to the adults as the kid, you can hold it in your hand. It's a tangible thing. Where MP3s, I mean, do they even really exist? I mean, can you touch one? No. Does anyone want to flip through your MP3s? But everyone wants to look at what records you have.
I mean, it's really cool. Like just like physically looking at it and understanding what it actually is, that it's actually like sound imprints on the thing, on the vinyl. It's really, if you really think about it, it's actually really, really cool. The fact that sound is actually trapped in an object.
It has just a sort of style to it that I think a lot of kids these days are like attracted to. And a lot of the music, older music is coming back in, and a lot of older music is made on vinyls.
Immediately when you pick it up and put it on the record, you start to hear the little, and there's something about that that sort of brings you back to the day, and especially on my record player, because I don't have the right speakers for it, so it definitely automatically gives it that classic feel because it's sort of staticky, and I sort of enjoy it.
Like, I always consider that MP3s are just too easy. I mean, you can find any MP3 you want, anytime you want, anywhere you want. It's never a question. But you can't always find the record you want. You always can't find the version you want, or maybe it's you've got a poor quality, you know, yours is not in good shape and you're looking for a better one. There's all kinds of other factors that come into that. And that challenge of looking for it makes it fun. I mean, that's one of the fun things in life, is wanting something and then finding it and going, yeah, I got it, you know.
I definitely think vinyl is something more. I think like there's just a whole experience that comes along with like listening to vinyl and like just having a record player. I mean, some people obviously would classify it as like hipster and like something, you know, people like that do, but it's a really like great thing, and it brings along a great atmosphere.
I don't think it's hipster activity, because I don't believe I'm a hipster at all. I don't think it's hipster because it's actually really become like a big thing now. I just think it's something like would you call stamp collecting like a hipster thing to do? No, just because this is collecting. Like, it's really, I like it, and a lot of people like it, so you just try to get as much of it as you can.
Cassettes are cool, but no one has a cassette player anymore. But a lot of people still have record players. They just never got rid of them. CDs, it's more of an industry thing. They're phasing them out. Like, you can't, Ford doesn't even have a CD in their car anymore. They don't even sell them. So those are sort of naturally going away. And again, cassettes are cool, but they don't sound great. 8-tracks don't sound great. Vinyl records sound great, and they work. You know, it's the better medium of the three.
Vinyl does sound better. Like, I've heard that firsthand. You know, I've listened to CDs, vinyl, cassettes, all that stuff. Vinyl really, it just has that particular sound, and that little crackle that the old ones have really just adds a whole different atmosphere to it, and it sounds a lot better.
I think for a lot of people, it's the way that it looks and the way that it sounds. It's just very vintage, and a lot of people really love vintage stuff. And it has just a very unique just thing about it that I think people really tend to enjoy.
Almost all new artists release vinyl. It's pretty much standard now that most all artists, bands and such want a record as well as they do a CD or whatnot. And I've actually read where, you know, some bands, they actually make better money selling records because it's just a better deal for them. It's harder to do. I mean, it requires a little more effort to have a record made than it does to, you know, burn a CD or upload a song to, you know, a website or something. But they, again, it's something that they can show you that they actually have, you know.
It's like a different way to listen to it. Like, because normally when you get a vinyl, you get like a digital download of it. So it's kind of like, hey, you get a download anyway. It's another way to release stuff, because, you know, you go to record stores and you see the new stuff, but it's like a vinyl, it's a lot bigger. So you can see it, like you can see the album cover, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, who is it? And when it put in your CD store, it's a lot smaller and there's a lot more CDs there, and it's a better way to get out to other people. Honestly, what I think it is it's the cover. I bet you that it's because it's one of those things, like, even if you scratch the vinyl, you can still hang on your wall and it looks cool. Like, it's like, it appreciates album artwork, because then with CDs it's a lot smaller. Now with digital downloads you can barely see it on your phone, not even sometimes. And it's just a lot cooler, because like you can actually see the album artwork, and then you open it up and you can see like the lyrics and like who made it and all that kind of stuff, like your release date. And I think that's just over.
I would describe the feeling of buying a new vinyl as just sort of like entrancing and nostalgic, because when you grab a vinyl and you just sort of feel the plastic and you're like taking off the plastic cover, and a lot of times, you know, you'll find in the record casing, you'll find maybe it's the lyrics page, or you find like a new picture, like, and then you don't know what color the vinyl is going to be even. Like I said, my Scott Pilgrim vinyl is like red, and it's really incredible it's sort of like opening a jumbo box, or what are the little things called? The jumbo balls or whatever? Wonder balls.
Yeah,
It's sort of like opening a Wonder Ball. It's really incredible. I love the feeling of grabbing a new vinyl.
Oh, definitely playing it for the first time. Without a doubt playing it, because that's the cleanest it's ever going to get. It's the cleanest. Opening it's fun. Taking out the sleeve when you first get it, you put it on the turntable, and when you first play it, it's just kind of like a little rush. I love it. Because like I said, that's as clean as it's going to be.
I think vinyl's going to continue to grow. I don't know if it's going to continue to grow like it has been for the past 4 years. I don't know if I can expect to, doubling of sales or whatever. But I definitely think it's going to grow. It might taper off at some time in the future. I mean, it might not be, the hip trend of the moment like it is right now. But I think people will continue to like it. They'll not forget it again.
There's no doubt of vinyl's return. The past is fusing with the present to form a new age for vinyl records, and music is sounding better than ever. There are many different reasons why these circular pieces of plastic have so much power. The sound, the appearance, the atmosphere, all of this crammed within one circular piece of plastic.
Mojo Vinyl is an independent record store that sells vinyl records and turntables. We buy and sell vinyl records. So if you've got records in the basement, or records you don't want anymore, we might buy them from you or trade them for new records that you might want. We sell new and used records. We get new records every week. There's new releases every week. And then we sell used collectible records, records that are out of print, records you can't find anymore. There's always a great reason to have a record. We've been in business for 4 years now, and we're in historic Roswell on Webb Street, which is right off Canton Street.